Thank you. It's wonderful to be with you this wonderful and beautiful day. I think some of us, the last time we were here on Capitol Hill, it was sleeting because it was the March for Life. So we just have to actually thank the Lord that He gave us sunshine and shade. I'm so glad that they said that we were going to talk about women and the left, because I'm one that many of you know believe the lie of the left. And so if you talk about what their ideas and intentions are, I can tell you firsthand, believe in their lie. Living years in a life of despair and recklessness. After the fourth time I went into their so-called safe, legal, rare clinic, is when I had a gut instinct way down deep inside that there must be something wrong with killing your offspring. And in still listening to their lives, I ended up still in sexual recklessness and ended up having a child and on the welfare state. 7 years in and out of their lie, 3.5 years consistently, until finally God found me in that little dark hole that I carved for myself and said, get up and speak up. And that's what I'm doing here today. I run CURE, the Center for Urban Renewal and Education. We're a policy think tank here in Washington, D.C., where we promote market-based solutions to fight poverty. UrbanCure.org. And now I understand from what has been going on here, and actually for quite some while, as was mentioned to you earlier, about the disguise behind Obamacare and then the promotion of it to the point where they passed it, that they have decided to declare war on the church. The church has been called out to defend its position as a moral authority in this great country. And I think that this is a good discussion for us to have right now amidst all of the stabilizing institutions collapsing. The headlines just yesterday reported that 1 in 4 American women have never married. Yet over 1 million potential American births a year end in abortion. While 1 in 4 American women never marry, 4 in 10 American births are outside of marriage. In fact, the top 3 social crises confronting America today are rooted in unmarried sexual activity, AIDS, abortion, and government dependency. The collapse of sexual discipline has great costs. And the bright side of this government overreach of HHS under the direction of the Obama administration to declare war on religious liberty and expression gives us reason to have a conversation that we should have had way back in the 60s. Mountains of data point to the connection between traditional marriage and religion to civil order and economic prosperity. Yet we are here today because our times necessitate that we defend both sexual integrity and religion from the onslaught of the same big government social engineers that gave us the sexual revolution and the war on poverty. Go ahead. No more than should my auto insurance cover your tune-up, should my health insurance cover your sex life. Not your Viagra, not your condoms, not your birth control devices, not your abortions. I see nowhere in the Declaration of Independence that politicians have a right to force me to pay for what a department secretary considers health insurance. I see nowhere in the Constitution that politicians have a right to force religious institutions or religious individuals to subsidize activities, behaviors, or lifestyle choices that they consider abhorrent and a violation to the tenets of their faith. This battle against Obamacare is one that must be fought by all who believe that there are boundaries set in our Constitution which politicians cannot cross. Boundaries set by our nation's founders so that our nation will be free. Boundaries that they themselves were forced to debate for 80 plus years regarding slavery because freedom and the ideals of personal liberty conflicted with the law of the land. Come on. We are no longer a free country when politicians get to force religious institutions and individuals to buy a product that their Bible declares as sin. Come on. We are no longer a free country when politicians can force Americans to subsidize their to subsidize what their faith deems vile and destructive. We are no longer a nation of freedom and personal responsibility when politicians get to pit family against family and friend against friend, neighbor against neighbor, and employee against employer, and the young against the old, to further a social experiment that throughout history has proven to reduce mankind to savages.
Come on.
Let's talk about the cost of Catholics leaving the business of serving our nation's most vulnerable. One of the only three options given them by the Barack Obama administration as a result of Obamacare. The options are bow your knee to Nebuchadnezzar, pay a fine to Caesar, or leave the business. And what is the particular business weighing in the balance? What is the specific business of the church that the secular left has declared war on? Care for our nation's elderly, our nation's weak, our nation's sick, and our nation's orphans. This is the work of Catholic charities and Catholic hospitals. This is the work of our Christian pregnancy centers and our Christian homeless shelters. Let's talk about the orphan and the elderly, the weak and the sickly, the homeless and the wretched. Somebody loves them. Somebody bathes them. Somebody nourishes and prays with them. And somebody even gives them peaceful last rites and holds their hand while they die. Who are these somebodies? And why has the Barack Obama administration declared war on them? Our Lady of Liberty pronounced to give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. And huddled we have 500,000 orphans in our foster care system. And poor we have 700,000 homeless in our gutters and our alleys. And tired we have 1 million unvisited seniors in our nursing homes. Yet only a few faithful rise to the occasion to handle the details of this amazing work of caring for those most indigent and needy on our behalf.
Yes.
A few decent people in quiet religious communities for doing the invisible and nonprofit work for us, compelled by their God. Why is this administration declaring war on those who would serve the least of these? Why is this administration so hostile to compel those who by their faith would sacrifice all personal and earthly rewards to wash the body of an aged widow or to clean the teeth of a homeless man? Why is Barack Obama and Kathleen Sebelius so hostile to those compelled by their faith to forego all materialism, to visit the sick, the elderly, the weak, and the orphan? The three choices that Barack Obama and his administration have set before those of religious faith with this healthcare mandate: bow your knee, pay a fine, or leave the business. I just explained to you what their business is that might have to be on the table if this mandate is not overturned. If we lose this war, which in closing only leaves Americans two choices in November: good or evil, life or death. Deuteronomy 30 says, I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, Amen. Blessing and cursing. Amen. Therefore choose life that both you and your seed may live.